Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Code Genius Ria. So in this video we are going to start a new series of course that is microservices. So before starting the series, let me go through all the tech stack that we are going to use in our project. First start with the front end. We have like React.js that is used to build dynamic and interactive user interfaces for web application. Then we have Next.js that is used for server-side rendering. We have Tailwind CSS for styling. Then at the back end, we are going to use microservices, which have like Node.js that allows running JavaScript code on the server to handle backend logic. Then we have Express.js that is a web framework for Node.js to create APIs and manage server routes easily. Then we have MongoDB that is used to store data with the Mongoose. And we have like Docker, Kubernetes, JWT tokens, and we are going to use TypeScript, CI/CD pipeline, and many more. So let's start. So let me begin with what is microservices. So before starting, let me clear out to you, like before reading what is microservices, it is very essential to understand what is monolithic server, because monolithic server is like the drawback of the monolithic server help us to read what is microservices, because microservices came only from the drawbacks of the monolithic server. So currently you are most probably using monolithic server. In monolithic architecture, all of our code needed to implement our application inside of one single code base, and we deploy that code base as a one discrete unit. We can imagine that with a monolithic server, we have like request coming from a user browser or a mobile device that will flow into our application. This is my application, and go through maybe some like pre-processing middleware, then it maybe goes off to some router, then it might inspect the request and decide to send it off to some very specific feature to be further processed. So maybe in that case, it goes to feature A. Feature A might decide to read or write some data out of a database and eventually formulate a response and then send back a response to whoever made the request. So if we have to categorize like what is monolithic server, so we summarize it in such a way that it would say that a model, like monolithic model, contains all the routing, middlewares, and all the business logic and all the database access code required to implement all the features of our app. So this is like monolithic server. But if I talk about the difference between monolithic and microservices, like monolithic has all the code needed to implement every feature of our application, but in microservices, like this is for microservices, all the code needed to implement just one feature of an app. So if we talk about microservice architecture, so this is like wide range of microservice architecture. Like we have now split off all these different features and wrap them up inside their own little personalized services. A very important thing here to understand is that each of these services are entirely self-contained. It means service A has all the code required to make feature A work correctly. Like it has own middleware, its own router, its own database as well. The nice thing about this approach is that if for some reason, like if every other feature or every other service inside our application crashes down, like some post like service B, C, D mysteriously disappears, a portion of our app like service A is still going to work fine, as service A is 100% standalone and does not necessarily require any other service to work correctly. So suppose service B, C, D down, service A would still be perfectly working fine. So if I talk about the definition of microservice, so we can say like microservice contain all the code required to make one feature work correctly, whereas monolithic has all the code. This is my monolithic. So monolithic has all the code needed to implement every feature of our application. Okay, so this is the difference between monolithic and microservices. I hope you will get the point. Thank you.